so pleased and honored here to have one of my best mentors, I guess, about business and about wealth, the founder of ActionCOACH and also the CEO of ActionCOACH. Welcome, Brad.
Hey, buddy. Good to be here, Marvin. It's excellent to be joining you on this bright, sunny Las Vegas day.
It's bright and early in the morning here, so sun's coming up soon in Jakarta.
Excellent.
Cool. So what I'd like to do today, is possible, is pick your brain a little bit about wealth building. You've changed a lot of the way I think about wealth. And I'd like to share with some of our Indonesian followers here your perspective on wealth. Is that all right?
Absolutely. You know, wealth is an interesting question. Very rarely people really study the subject of money and wealth, and so therefore very rarely does it ever become a reality for them. So this is great. Let's share some teaching time.
Excellent. Now, most people that I meet here, they sort of associate their wealth with how much money they take home from their business or how much salary that they make. Can you share some of your distinction between wealth and income?
Yeah, so there's income rich and there's asset rich. I mean, being income rich doesn't make you wealthy. It makes you income rich. You have a high level of income. I forget who it was that said it's not how much money you make, it's what you do with the money you make that makes you wealthy. You know, I've over the years, I've sort of seen I nickname them the Friday night rich guy. That's the guy who makes a lot of money, but by Friday night he's spent it all, and he has to, it's all gone. And Indonesia's gone through such a boom of wealth creation across the country that you've seen so many people with new money. And the challenge for a lot of people with new money is they don't understand what to do with it. The job of money is to make more money. The job of money isn't to buy you toys. The goal is to, you make the money, you invest the money, and then you buy toys. You don't buy toys with your income. You buy toys with your return on investment. And if you buy toys with your income, you end up with no wealth building. So you've got to turn your assets into capital gains and long-term cash flow. That's where the money is supposed to go. So both in business and external to business, we've got to reinvest so we get that money back.
And we've worked with a lot of our business coaching clients, obviously, and we've helped them make a lot of money from their business. Some of them, at the end of a few years, they'd say, we've worked really hard and we've made all this money, but none of it seemed to stick around. I can't see the results. So what are some of the traps? Usually when people make more money, they have the temptation, especially business owners, to say, I'm reinvesting it in my own business. They're putting a lot of their income back into their business, and then at the end of it, they feel like they haven't really gained anything.
Well, you've got to sit down, and this is where planning wealth is a very important part of it. See, I'll start with three things. Number one, you've got to pay yourself first in business. So you must have a methodology of the business having a separate bank account that is the profit bank account for business. So a percentage of each month's income. It could be two clients, or it could be a percentage of the money that comes in, or it could be 1 week's income or 3 days' income that all gets banked into that separate bank account that is untouchable by the operations team and the business. So that is first and foremost. The second thing, you've got to have an actual set of goals around wealth. See, if I asked most people their goals, Marvin, their goal would be to buy a new car. Well, okay, well, how many houses do you need to buy that new car? And they look at me going, what do you mean? And it's like, well, hang on. Like I bought a new Rolls Royce when they first came out with the Phantom drop-head coupe, and it was going to be $600,000 US. So instead of taking my $600,000 and giving it to the dealership, I took my $600,000, bought a business that then paid for the car. Now I own a car and the business, and the business has grown in value massively. The car obviously depreciates in value, but I buy an asset that pays for the toy. So I think the third thing is there's a mentality that, and Marvin, you see this with your clients, and I've seen it over many, many years. Once they first get that taste of money, it's kind of like, wow, let's have fun. Let's spend it all. Let's go on vacations. And okay, you've just started to make great money. You should not be buying Dom Perignon yet, okay? Stay with your beer just for a little while longer. And when your assets are buying you Dom Perignon, fantastic. But until it's your assets paying for it, you know, a lot of business owners, in fact, I hate to say it, Marvin, business owners are some of the worst outside investors because of what you mentioned. They think, oh, look, I'm reinvesting my money back into the business. The job of a business is to provide enough profit to handle the growth and allow you to take enough money out to invest in other things. Mm-hmm. But I'll finish this point off this way. If you don't have external wealth goals to your business, yes, you will continuously leave the money in the business. You need to set a wealth plan, a goal of it. And I always say, Marvin, everybody should open up a company that is named, you know, Marvin Suaso Investments Company. Does that make sense? It's like everyone should have a company that is their family investments. For me, it's Sugar's Enterprises. Sugar's Enterprises is our wealth company. It has a business plan. The business plan for Sugar's Enterprises is all about building wealth. It's not about the cash flow. It's not about those things. It's about building wealth for our family. And whereas companies like ActionCOACH and my other trading companies, their job is to provide cash flow to give Sugar's Enterprises the money to buy all of the assets and build the wealth. Mm-hmm.
That's a really interesting point that you made there, and especially with regards to planning. Now, I know a lot of people work with financial planners to build their wealth. In your experience working with wealth educators or wealth managers, what would you say are some of the biggest misconceptions about financial planning that are being taught into the community right now?
Let me start by saying there's some brilliant financial planners out there and there's some really bad ones out there. The really bad ones are basically just salespeople selling you something they get a commission on. That's some of the worst financial planning that there possibly could be. When you're working at planning your finances, I guess I'll say two things about it. Number one, don't just hand it over to someone else to do it for you. You have to learn enough about it to be able to manage it. See, and Marvin, you know this very well. I've taught people over the years to say, listen, my best suggestion is that in a husband and wife scenario, one makes the money, one manages the money. For me, it was me and my father. I was the maker of money and my dad was the manager of money. There's two financial roles within a family. One is to make and one is to manage. And it's good because the one who's managing it will put pressure on the one to make more so that they can buy more investments. And the one who's making them all will put a bit of pressure on the other one to, get a better return. So I think that's where we find great results out there in the way it is. Now, working with a financial planner, if you don't have any decent goals for your finances, it doesn't matter what are they going to do if you don't have the goals set down, all of the things. See, it's a misconception that retirement is an age thing. Retirement is a financial position. It's not about how old you are that you retire. It's about how much money you've got. And unfortunately, most people, money should take 10 years to learn. It shouldn't take 20 years or 50 years to learn money. It should take 10 years to learn and master money. If at the end of 10 years, you've done a good job of learning money, money will work for you rather than you work for money. And so whether you do that through your own investments or a financial planner, me personally, I've learned it. I invest in businesses. My wife manages our real estate investments, and my dad, up until just recently, has managed all of our stock market. Now that's moving over to myself and my kids, actually.
Okay. So it's interesting that I think what I got from you is that each person in your family is specializing on a particular type of investment. So you sort of the area where you're good at.
I don't think that each of us can be brilliant at everything. I'm really good at business. I'm good at real estate, and I'm okay at shares. But I'm really, really good at business. It doesn't make sense to pull me off of buying companies to put me into buying real estate. Does that make sense? It doesn't make sense to do that. I can buy businesses and make tens of millions of dollars in a week. To put me on real estate doesn't make sense. My wife is getting extraordinarily good at real estate. My kids are getting extraordinarily good at shares. So, I think that you've got to, and even within that, I would say, Marvin, pick your niche within it. Don't just do real estate. Pick a niche within real estate that you've become amazing at. Over the years, mine was always single family homes on large lots that eventually I would knock down the single family home and build duplexes or six packs, apartment buildings, basically. So that was always my genius. Now it's medical suites is the one that I'm very, very good at. So yeah, pick your niche within business, within shares, within real estate as well.
Yeah, so I think I first learned about your make and manage concept about 8.5 years ago with my wife at a regional conference there. And it took us about 5 years, but we're applying everything now. We've got our split, we've got our niches, and we've got our plan. On the other extreme of the equation, where we've got the successful business owners, we've got the employees, the executives who have become quite good at building their own wealth. Some of them have sort of, expressed this, question, which says like, why do we need to make more? I'm already at a comfortable level now. I think I have pretty much everything that I want. What would you say to people like that who are at that space, I guess?
Yeah, look, there's multiple answers to that. Number one answer is that you're either growing or dying. If your business and your wealth, if you're not building your wealth, you are spending your wealth, and therefore you're not a good custodian of money. It's kind of like the person that comes to me that has a small amount of money. If you don't manage a small amount of money well, there's no way in the world the universe rewards you with a large amount of money to work with. The second thing I'll say to them is that at some point your goals have to become bigger than you. If your only goal in life is to provide for yourself, then ultimately you need to learn how to have a bigger goal. And by that, it could be, curing a disease, or it could be taking care of a community. It could be paying for all of the kids in your local area to go to a college or university, church. There's so many great causes out there. And then the third thing that I think all of us need to recognize is that at some point you're going to get very bored. I've tried to retire. I've tried all of those things. At some point it's got to become about the game. I don't need to buy any more companies. Yet last week I bought another business. I don't need to go out and do that stuff, but I do it because this is fun. This is what I love doing. I love it. It's fun. It's enjoyable. Now, I only do it 2 days a week. I don't work more than 2 days a week. Tuesdays and Thursdays, that's it. I only work from 9 till 3 because my kids, I drop them at school. I want to pick them up from school. But when I do work, I work intensely and I do the results. And then we travel a lot and all of those things. So you don't have to work full-time at it anymore, but definitely keep your eye on the ball and keep yourself in the game to keep yourself sharp. I learned something that when they say life begins at 40, I'm pretty sure they meant financial life begins at 40. Because from 20 to 40, really what you're doing is messing around doing a bunch. And then at 40, you've now finally making enough money and doing enough where you can actually go, hey, now I'm actually making money. This is fun. I've got investments, returns, that stuff. So, I think that's a very big part of it.
Cool. And I think having gotten to know you over the years and just based on what you were saying today, it seems like family is such a big part of you and who you are. Just be interesting to learn a bit more about how did you first become aware of investing? Did you pick it up from your dad, or was it from your environment?
Yeah. Family is a big part of my life. 4 kids, a 5th one along the way. So yes, family is big. But that being said, no, wealth was never something we talked about at the dinner table. My family was one of those, you don't talk about politics, religion, or sex or money at the dinner table or in front of people, Whereas in our family now, talking about money is a very natural thing. Not externally. We don't want to share with everyone what money we have and stuff, but at the dinner table, I want to talk to my kids about finances and help them make better decisions and learn about money and that sort of thing. I want them to learn about how investing works. I mean, from age 2 onwards, my kids go to the bank every Thursday and invest their pocket money, and they learn a simple thing, that the habit is more important than the amount. It doesn't matter how much they're putting in the bank. What matters is that they're going to the bank every single Thursday and investing their pocket money. And as I tell them every week, did you invest your pocket money? Yes, Dad, great, you can get more. If you don't invest, no, you don't get any more. And that's their lesson. And, Colton and Addison are now 4, and it's very clear in their mind, if you want more money, you have to invest. The only way you get more money is investing. So, that some of those simple beliefs that you can pass on to your kid, because people always say, why do the rich get richer? Because their family taught them how to be rich. It's not that they had some magic pill or that, it's unfair in any way. It's that they learned money because someone in their family understood money and could teach it to them. Right.
And, that leads to so many other questions that we can go deeper on there, Brad. But what would you say are some of the key disciplines or habits that you would like your kids to have when they grow up with regards to wealth building?
Oh, dang. Number one, spend less than you make. I mean, that's not a hard one to think, but oh my goodness, in this day and age with credit cards and things, people's ability to spend less than they make or to always be investing a percentage of what they make is tough. And that's where I always say have an automatic investment program where if your salary goes into your bank account, have 20% of your salary taken out and put into a separate account immediately, like that you never even see it. If you never see it, you're not going to spend it and you're not going to miss it. Those sorts of things. But I think that most of all, I would like them to understand that, the job of money is to make more money. The job of money isn't to buy me stupid things. It's to make me more money. Then my return on investment allows me to buy stupid things and have great money.
All right. Okay. It's really powerful stuff there. And I guess I have one final request of you, Brad. I remember in one of the sessions I attended with you, you had said this line that just sticks in my mind, which is, become wealthy in your head and your heart before you become wealthy in your pocket. For me, that was a spot-on thing. Would you care to elaborate a little bit more to the audience about that?
Yeah, look, I think it speaks for itself, but let's examine it a little bit further. Wealth starts here, and wealth starts here in your heart. I'll bring up a little bit. Wealth starts in your head and your heart. If you don't see, let's use a simple example. People that win a fortune, they go out there and they win a fortune. And they're broke 5 years later. Why? Because they never actually understood money. They didn't understand wealth. Wealth as a concept is something that we have to understand, and that's why we have to study the subject of money. How does investing work? How do we develop a set of rules to become an investor? What niche should we be picking so that we become a great investor? How do we invest in business and in real estate and in shares? You've got to learn all three. You master one maybe, but learn all three. But then you've got to sit down and say, okay, what about the heart? Well, if your purpose for wealth is just for the sake of having money, generally wealth is not going to be the thing that you build. If your purpose for wealth has greater meaning, then there's going to be some serious wealth built. And that's sort of just a very simplistic way of saying that what's in your head and what's in your heart determines what's in your wallet. The smarter you are about money, the better you're feeling towards money. I've met people, Marvin, over the years whose feeling towards money is, their mentality is poor. They have a poor mindset. Every time they see something, they say, oh, I can't afford that. That's too much. instead of, gee, how can I afford that? How can I make more money so that I can have that in my life? See, their thinking is always about lack, limitation, rather than desire and build and grow and abundance. So you've really got to change that heart, what you think and what you feel about money, so that you do that. I mean, I still remember it as a kid. I was a good kid, went to Sunday school, got taught money is the root of all evil and all of these awful things about money. And luckily enough, about age 17, I found a cassette tape by a guy by the name of Reverend Ike, Dr. Frederick Ike Kerencotter, who taught me to love money and be okay with money, and that money is good for me because, you know, as he said, it's easier to be spiritual in the back of a Rolls-Royce limousine than it is on a bicycle. And you know, he made jokes of it, but he was very serious about the fact that if you have a disdain, or if you have a feel that money is a bad thing, like even people say the words filthy rich, Marvin. I mean, right. That's just it's a simple little, you know, your heart has got to change its feeling towards money if you want money to be something that loves hanging out with you. The Reverend used to say it very clearly. He said, money is like a lady. You know, if you treat her well, she'll stay around. If you don't, she'll leave you as fast as she can. And if you treat money well, even when you've got a small amount, if you show money respect, when you have a small amount of money, you do need to tithe, you do need to give. When you have a small amount of money, you do need to invest and to save, even when you have a small amount of money, because only when you build those habits with a small amount will the universe reward you with larger amounts to take care of. Show respect for money and money will keep coming to you in droves.
Mm-hmm. It's really so much about the disciplines and the routines around money and wealth, isn't it?
Yeah, the habit is way more important than the amount, buddy. The habit of investing, way more important than the amount.
Okay, cool. Brad, I think, you know, that's a lot to digest and a lot for people to think about. Thank you so much for sharing your wisdom with everyone. And
most happy to, buddy. My book, Billionaire in Training, and my other book, The Wealth Coach. Wealth Coach is out in about 1 month, so once people are watching this, it'll probably be released. So buy them, read them, study them. And those of you in business for yourself, please talk to Marvin. I was reading some of his testimonials before jumping on the phone today, and literally his clients love him. He gets results with them. Talk to him, talk to his team, go see them, send them an email. Make sure you do. Oh, by the way, Marvin, some of your clients don't really love you. They think you're a very, very tough coach. Well done. Well done. Be tough on those clients. Get them the results.
Thank you, Brad. All right. Look forward to catching up with you in Australia soon. Thank you so much.
Take care, buddy. Travel safe.